Benefits of having a product configuration rule are that they contain a condition to be met, an error message, and a filter. They can be used for validations and selections. They can use summary variables to see if conditions are met, and they can be used as either quote product rules, which check the quote line items and verify that there are no invalid products, or product configuration rules, which check the product and its components to prevent invalid product options from being selected on a product bundle. Product rules are defined by the object itself. Conditions are associated with it, and you can associate as many conditions as you'd like. Product rules can be used against configuration and quote lines. Configuration rules are a way to assign product rules to a specific bundle, and in some cases will have actions associated with the rule. In the grand scheme, we'll also use another concept called the summary variable. Summary variables determine when a term should be automatically included. You can create summary variables as aggregates of a quote's line items, assets, or subscriptions on the associated account. For example, you can automatically include a renewal term on a quote that included a product that is now an asset, but is including that same product as a quote line item. So our product configuration rule in this lesson today will include a little bit of each of these items. Our configuration rule will involve matching the quantity on our monitoring and real-time analysis products. So we will have a product rule, an error condition, configuration rule, and summary variable. Start out on your All Tabs page and click the Products Rule tab. Click New as we're going to create a new product rule. I named this product Quantity Match on Monitoring and Analysis. That's because in our use case we want to enforce that the quantity entered on our appliance monitoring product is equal to the quantity entered for our real-time analysis product. Let's select our conditions met. By selecting all, this means all conditions must be met to trigger this rule. By selecting any, this means only a single condition must be met to trigger this rule. We're going to select all. Let's select our scope. A scope of quote means you're targeting the line editor page. A scope of product means you're targeting the configuration page. Since we're targeting the configuration page, we'll select product. Let's select our evaluation event. Load means the rule will be evaluated when the product bundle is opened. Edit means the rule will be evaluated when the product bundle is changed. Save means the rule will be evaluated upon save, and always means the rule will be evaluated during any event. We are going to pick always. Now let's select our type. We are selecting validation. Validation notifies the user of an invalid product selection and prevents saving. The other type is selection. Selection automatically selects the applicable products for the user to prevent invalid selections. Ensure that the active checkbox is selected. Add the error message that you want to appear in the configuration when the quantities of your real-time analysis and appliance monitoring products are not equivalent. Click Save. Click New Configuration Rule. We're going to add this onto our product rule. Ensure that you select the active checkbox. This is actually where you activate and deactivate your product rule. Click the search icon next to the product field. This configuration rule is actually how you connect your product to your product rule. Select the appliance product that we've been bundling everything on and click Save. Click the product rule link to return back to the product rule details page. Click New Error Condition. We'd like to add an error condition that will actually cause that error message to fire when the two quantities are not equivalent. But first, click the blue pop-out menu in the right-hand corner and click Edit Layout. There's a field or two missing that I'd like to add to the error condition. Add the tested object field to the information section. And let's place the already existing tested variable field right above the tested object field and click Save. Great, so now we have our tested variable and tested object fields in our information section on our error condition. The only problem is our tested variable calls out to our summary variable, which we currently don't have. So we actually need to go create a summary variable in order for this error condition to work. So let's go ahead and do that now. So I was sneaky and I opened up another browser tab. This leads to the tabs page, and you'll want to scroll down and click on the summary variables link. Click new. We want to create a new summary variable. Name this variable sum of quantity of monitors, since we're summing up the total quantity of existing monitors. Let's enter our target object. Select product option. Let's go ahead and select our aggregate function. You'll want that to be sum since you want to know the total number of monitors. Add your aggregate field. That'll be quantity. Now you'll want to select your filter field. Select product code since you'll want to make sure your product rule is actually counting the right thing. Select your operator. This will be equals. Enter your filter value, which is your product code. More specifically, this is your product code for your monitoring product. And since I'm so smart and know this right off the top of my head, this is monitor in all caps. And click save. I would like to create another summary variable, but this one will be the sum of quantity of real-time appliance. And actually, pretty much everything in this summary variable will be exactly the same, except for a little change in the name and the filter value. So I'll go ahead and click clone, and that'll save me a lot of time when creating my new summary variable. So here we have our sum of quantity of monitor summary variable just copied over. We want to change our variable name and filter value. Just change monitor to real-time analysis. Change the filter value from the all caps monitor to the real-time analysis product code, which I also know off the top of my head, which is analysis in all caps. Click save. Let's return to the error condition we were working on initially. We can finally fill out the tested and filter variables now that we've created our summary variables. Remember to refresh the page so the new values can take effect. Click the tested variable search icon so we can select our summary variable. Let's select the sum of quantity of real-time analysis summary variable. Let's select a filter type. We're selecting variable, which evaluates this rule against another summary variable. So we'll be adding filter variable to the other field in the column. And there's value, which evaluates this rule against a specific value. So just so you know, when you select variable as the filter type, you must enter a filter variable. And if you select value as the filter type, you must enter a filter value. So you have to correspond the value and variable to the filter type. Otherwise, you'll get an error for your rule. Select the filter variable search icon so we can add another summary variable in this field. We're adding sum of quantity of monitor here. That way, sum of quantity of real-time analysis and sum of quantity of monitor will be able to cross-check one another in the error condition. Let's select our operator. This is what we will use when evaluating the tested section. We're choosing not equals because when real-time analysis and appliance monitoring are not equal, we want that error message to fire. I just want to point out the tested object, even though we're not currently using it for this use case. The tested object specifies the object that contains the tested field. And then you'll see below the tested field chooses the quote field to use when testing the condition. Now, if you're testing against a field, you must select these two items. But if you're testing against a variable, like we are, you must leave these blank. Otherwise, this can cause problems in rule execution. Click Save. You'll want to click on the quantity match on monitoring and analysis rule in order to return to your product rule. So let's go ahead and do that. Here's our completed quantity match on monitoring and analysis product rule. I'm going to go ahead and click that blue pop-out menu in the right-hand corner and edit my page layout. I'd actually like to add more information to the error conditions and configuration rules related lists. That way when I'm looking at the page, I can actually obtain more information by taking a quick glance right at my page. Click Edit Layout, click Related Lists to jump down to Error Conditions and Configuration Rules. Let's edit the Error Conditions related list first. Add Tested Object and Tested Field to the Selected Fields column. Move Tested Object and Tested Field right below Tested Variable. Now let's edit our Configuration Rules related list. Add Product and Active to the column. Okay, click Save. Alright, now you can really check out our completed product rule with all our perfect page layouts. Let's go back to that one quote we've been messing with and test out this product rule and see it in action. Click Edit Lines, Add Products, add your appliance product. Select one of the power cords so we don't run into any errors there. I'm going to select both my appliance monitoring and real-time analysis products because I'd like to see both of them configured and see my rule fire. I'll go ahead and select one of my support products just so I don't run into any errors there. Click Save and hold your breath. Alright, perfect. I got exactly the result I wanted. My error message popped up. That's because the appliance monitoring and real-time analysis products were not equivalent. So I got my error message that stated the quantities from both software components must match. They didn't match, so I got my error message. Great! For your exercise, I'd like you to replicate what I did in this demo, which is validating that the quantity for two software components is identical. In my demonstration, I validated the two software components of real-time analysis and appliance monitoring. I provided screenshots of my product rule detail, my error conditions, configuration rules, and summary variable details, so that should be very helpful for you. So good